How's it going?
I'm good. How's it going with you?
Going alright, man?
Are we live?
Yeah,
We're live.
we are
Okay.
live.
Listeners, I'm not even going to welcome you into the pod. I'm just going to tell you straight off the bat. Rid
What?
and needs to sort out his priorities, and because he ditched me yesterday for Elden Ring. Ditched.
Well,
Ditched.
priorities
Left out in the cold,
out in the cold.
ignored. The wolves got me. So is it worth it?
I mean, aye, it's a great. The game's pretty fucking good so far.
Don't know what answer I expected, but that's probably as close as I did. Yeah.
It's pretty goddamn good.
Talk about it.
Um, well, obviously, I've been getting my arse kicked up and down all over the place,
Mhm.
but I've been having a great time. I've not got super far actually. I've not beat. I've not even got past the first like major area, really. Like I'm still in the first kind of area
Right.
of the map that they give you. I'm working through the first like the main area. It's like there's like a castle you get to, and it's like and there's bosses that you have to get through there, and that's like I think the first proper like uh dungeon, I guess would be the right word to use in the game. So I'm currently working my way through that. But so I've not made it super far. I've been doing a good amount of exploring, and I got stuck on a boss for quite a while. But it's pretty great. I've been having a fantastic time with it.
You're enjoying it.
I'm very much enjoying it.
The story, is the story enticed you? Um
I
is it
mean,
everything this
it's so far it's classic, Souls story where it is very ambiguous and they don't really tell you too much of what's going on.
yeah.
It seems like aye. So it's one of the things where I'm like the story's details given to you make you want to just kind of explore the world and kind of try and find out what's going on exactly. But
Okay.
it is
Yeah.
very ambiguous, and it's one of the things where after I've beat the game, I'm probably gonna go and watch a bunch of fucking YouTube
Lore
videos,
explained.
lores, and all that. So
Yeah.
bye.
That's good. I'm glad that the cost of our friendship was just a game that everybody's been waiting on for the past 5 years or however long it's been in development.
It's been quite a while.
Hmm.
I mean, would you expect me to not play it immediately as soon as I got out of bed?
I mean, like, what I really expect is basically for you to just run every moment and every facet of your life by me.
I see.
You know, you
Oof.
sit there and you're like, should I enjoy myself today? I better ask for permission first. You know, is that too much to ask?
Apparently not. Apparently it isn't. No.
I mean, you never did the dishes when I asked about them.
I'll do the dishes my own time.
That I am well aware of.
One thing that has been a bit shite um, is I don't know if it's just Xbox servers, but I have not been able to get online in the game at all, which has been kind of shitty because I haven't been able to play online is usually pretty enjoyable way into a Souls game because you'll constantly see messages for other players in the world that'll give you hints or that'll be like funny or something. And that's usually a really fun part of the game, but I've just not been able to get online. Every time I log onto the game, it's just like failed to connect online playing an offline mode. And I tried to Google it and people are like, aye, it's it's just kind of fucked now for
The way that it
Xbox.
is. Yeah.
Hopefully it'll get fixed soon. I don't know if it's just that the Xbox servers are just shitty, or if it's just because so many people are playing it,
Hmm.
and they maybe just it's just not working properly. But what I've seen people playing on PC and people playing on PlayStation, I seem to have no issue getting online, so kind of annoying.
Doesn't really surprise me that the Xbox has those kinds of difficulties. I mean, look at Halo. Just look how they've
Mm,
massacred my boy.
true, true.
Um,
I mean,
and
I don't know.
I mean, like, are you really missing? Is there a lot that you're missing other than like being having like other people's experience, like in notes or messages, stuff like that?
It's not a huge problem, but it'd be nice to have it because when you're going through like wee dungeon, because like obviously in the open world area it will only be as important, but like when I find like a wee dungeon somewhere,
Mm,
and I go inside, having like other people's messages that are like, oh, there's a trap here, or oh, there's a secret wall here, we item there, and I didn't, and shit like that is like
yeah,
nice to find. And it's like, oh, and then it's just I don't know. It would be nice to have it, but it's not like the game's fucking ruined without it
unplayable.
being
Yeah.
there. But it would be nice. It would be nice to get access to the online.
So, obviously, you've played like Dark Souls, you've played like Bloodborne, Sekiro, stuff like that. Is Elden Ring on that same kind of difficulty level, or would you say it's maybe a more mainstream kind of game?
I mean, it's still definitely difficult. It is. I would say it's easier. It's a little easier when you're just exploring the world. Like you're not going to be you're not going to be dying constantly when you're just exploring the actual world, the open areas and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
But when you get into the actual like main dungeons and to the proper like bosses and stuff, they will absolutely kick your shit in.
Mm,
They are still the like wee mini dungeons that you find aren't too bad, and they've got like a bunch of like bosses that aren't like super tough. But when you get to like main stuff, like the first proper boss that's like scripted in the story that I go to, it took me fucking ages to beat him.
mm.
He absolutely kicked the shit out of me for so long. So the main difficulty is still there. I think when you're going in the main path of the story, but outside of that, it's a little easier than other Souls games. I think when you're just doing exploring and side stuff and that. Plus, there's just I think in general, the further you get into the game, it might get a bit easier just because
You level up, better
it's
equipment.
it seems like this game as you're going to have way more freedom with the kind of build and character that you can create.
Hmm.
So I think it'll make it. I think the game's going to feel like your characters are a lot more powerful
Yeah, like
than
they're more
previous
implanted in the
games.
story and in the world.
It's just there's so many more things to do to
Hmm.
build your character, make them stronger, and all that. So
Speaking of characters, can you make them stronger by having one of their friends totally ditch them for a game? I don't know if like it's that um
fucking get on it,
oh baby,
get
I'm over
on
it.
it.
Oh, I'm over it. I'm under it.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
I mean, it certainly would never happen for me, but I mean,
My arse.
I don't think I've ever rescheduled a pod, have I? Oh, well, no, I have. That's a lie. I have, I guess.
Absolutely have.
Mm. I certainly have never turned around and went, you know, I just need to play the game and that's it.
Yeah.
I've never been like, hey, um, in fact, I don't even want to say Halo because we can all agree it's trash. Halo is dead, and 343 Industries have killed it. But I don't know. I just wouldn't. I don't know. I just feel like you've just got like this big, huge brass neck to actually just be blatantly ditching me for a game.
I mean, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that crazy to be like, hey, can we do the Can we do the podcast tomorrow instead? Because I really want to just sit and play this new game I've been waiting for years to come out. I want to just sit there and play it all day. So
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. As I say, like I'm not bitter about it. I'm over it.
clearly,
Um, I don't hold any hard feelings about it. Um,
mm.
I mean, it is what it is. This week, in fact, what something really interesting happened to me is I lost my best friend of 25 years over a game, and that was just really hard for me. So I don't know if we could talk about that. Maybe you have some insight.
I do have some insight in that, actually. My insight is, get the fuck on it!
Fine, I'll get at it. Will only be as funny, though. So what else has been happening then?
This week for me? Not really anything else. I'll be honest. I've not really did much else this week. I've just been kind of chilling, just hanging out and stuff. And then, do you know what was weird? Fucking actually, this week.
What's that?
So I was playing this game called Spy Party earlier this week with a friend, and Spy Party is basically this game where one player it's like 1v1. One player is like a spy at a party, and they have to like do these tasks where they have to like go up to other like NPCs and do specific things, and then while they're doing that, the other player is a sniper outside the party looking in, and they have to figure out which character you're playing as. They have to like follow everybody about and look to try and find you doing these tasks, and if they suss you out fast enough, they can take you out. But if you manage to get all your tasks done, then you win. It's pretty fun.
That sounds a lot of fun.
It's pretty fun. And we were playing that. And as we were playing it, I was sitting there going, I remember there was a game that I used to play with like you and Frank and everybody, like a game that we used to play. And I was like, and it was similar to this in concept, where it was one person trying to do a specific thing and the other people were trying to figure out who they were. And I was sitting for ages trying to remember what the fuck the game was. And I was like, I'm sure it was on the Wii U. I'm sure it was Party. I'm sure it was like it wasn't like a one game. It was like it was like a wee mini game Party something else. And I could not for the life of me for hours think what it was. It was pissing me off. And I finally remembered it was in that game in Wario.
Yeah.
It was it was the fruit thing. You picked a wee character and there was fruit in a level and you had to go and pick up the fruit and try and blend in with all the other characters, and everybody else watching had to try and figure out which one you're, and then pick, and then they all got to pick who they thought it was at the end. And I was like, I just couldn't remember it for ages. I remembered, like had some small details about it I was remembering, but I couldn't for ages.
It reminds me of a game. I think there was a game where you had to find out the alien. It was a maybe similar to on the lines of Among Us, but maybe a long time before Among Us. Maybe it was a Jackbox.
Aye, there was a Jackbox game that was basically was Among Us. It was you were in a spaceship and you would pick each person would pick like a side thing to do, and they would pick specific people to do it to try and figure out who the alien was, because the alien would have like different prompts for the other people, so you would try and figure out like who they are based on the answers and stuff they gave. It was Among Us, but well, actually, it might have not been, because Among Us did come out 2 years before it actually got popular. Like it came out in like 2018, but it didn't actually get big until like 2020. That's when it blew up. So I don't know. I don't know when that Jackbox game came out. If it was before that or not.
Remember
I don't know.
The game's name? Push the button.
You push the button.
Push the button. Just trying to figure out, like, what did you say, like 2018 for Among Us?
I think it was 2018 it came out. I'm pretty sure. Because it was 2020 that it became big. Aye, it was November 2018.
The Push the Button came out in Jackbox Party 6. I don't know when that came out.
Jackbox Party Pack 6. 2019 October, okay. So it was nearly a full year later. But Among Us was like a small indie game that was only on Steam and mobile and had like very little player base, so it was very possible that Jackbox people didn't even like ever like. It's possible they
Realize it.
didn't even know what that game was, and just thought of that concept completely separately. So
I guess.
because it's not even that similar to Among Us. It's not like you go about killing each other and stuff like that. It's
Exactly.
just it's a similar concept, but it's not like it's not like a copy paste idea. Exactly.
I mean, like, there's like, what was it? There's something that I read, and it was basically like all games are essentially just like a reimagining of an older game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Among Us essentially is just Cluedo.
Aye.
You know, it's just like
Aye.
find a murderer. Obviously different things are swapped out, but you know, find the imposter, find the whatever it is. I think that's been a game for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
Are you going to just ask? Are you going to ask me what I've done this week? Or?
Well, I was waiting for the current conversation to end before I would ask if you would fucking.
Well, I don't want the conversation to end. I want you to just talk over me, but write in and go. I need to know how your week was. That's what I want.
How was your week, John? What have you
I had a great week. Thank you for asking. I had a great week. I was away this week.
Oh, you were saying that. What were you doing exactly?
Well, it was like a late Valentine's kind of getaway thing, and it's always cheaper to buy. You know, like in Trader Secrets for people in relationships. You know, don't do Valentine's on Valentine's Day because everything is just like 10 times more expensive, and it's just pointless considering. So, you know, do it at the end of the month. That's what we do. We went a wee trip over to Argyll and Bute, which is just west of Loch Lomond, about an hour and a half. It was really lovely. Just we were sitting in a cabin, surrounded by nothing, with snow and hail and rain and everything just beating down in this wee cabin. It was amazing. We took the puppies.
That sounds pretty lovely. Oh, they probably had a great time out in the open like that.
They loved it. They loved the running about the wild, seeing like some of the animals, and there was other like dogs there, the people that owned the place. They loved that, and then going back in and lying in front of the fire. They just had a great time. I did as well.
That sounds really lovely.
I'll tell you who didn't have a good time.
Alan.
Alan hated it.
Really? Was it because he was just a wifey technology and all that? He was just not having
time.
It? Oh.
Absolutely miserable time. He, like, the bed, it was a double bed, right? Now, a double bed might be fine for maybe like an average guy and girl, but like for two big boys that are 6 foot tall, you know, a double bed's just isn't the one.
Aye, I could see that. Aye.
The door to the cabin, or the door like that the cabin had, it was like a wee hobbit door, so you had to duck under.
Oh, what the fuck?
He hit his head like 3 times.
Oh no!
Apparently not learning from the first time. And obviously like the lack of technology. I mean, I had Wi-Fi, which was fine. The walks, the going up hills and the harsh terrain, all that kind of stuff, I hated it.
Oh.
But you know that way, like it was like such a trooper. Like he was like, I'm not going to tell him I find this miserable. I'm going to say I'm having the best time of my life just to get through it.
Oh.
You know, he was like, the dogs are having fun. He's having fun. You know, I don't want to be a party pooper. So he was a trooper for that.
So did you know? Did you realise that he wasn't having a great time, or did you not really know until afterwards when he was like, "I had a shite time"? By the way.
Well, like, see when he booked it, I was like, "Oh, you're going to have a shite time."
So you knew, knew right away.
I just knew right away that, like, you know, he's the type of person that, you know, he likes his creature comforts, likes his home comforts, and you know, I guess it's you know, some people it's just kind of gone out their comfort zone, gone into the wild.
Aye.
You know, me personally, I feel very at peace when I'm like at the woods, or you know, I'm somewhere really isolated and like harsh weather and stuff like that. That stuff just kind of just makes me feel peaceful, you know, because I'm not worrying about much else. But I get like other people, that is their idea of hell, you know.
Aye.
Would you like it? Would you Would you go? What's your take?
I mean, I've not been in a while, but I mean, I've very much always enjoyed when I would go up to you know where, the
Mm-hmm.
cabins and all that
Yeah.
near here with my gran and all that.
What?
I very much enjoyed that anytime I went up there.
Mhm.
I've not been in a while, but I always had a great time up there when there's no like. I mean, for the years that we did go up there, there basically was just about zero actual electricity or technology
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah.
So
For the listeners, what Rid's referring to is a place called Camp Crystal Lake, and if you're a movie fan, you'll know exactly where that is. Do you know Camp? Do
uh,
you know Camp Crystal Lake?
is that Friday the 13th?
It is. Well
Ah,
done.
I
You
thought
definitely.
so. I thought so.
Um. So yeah, like Rid just used to go up to Camp Crystal Lake
Aye,
and chill in the
absolutely.
cabins.
Aye, we I don't know how much I've spoke about it before, but I when
Hmm.
there's a place not too far from where I live where my
Is that
grandmother
beautiful?
and my couple other family members own these little cabin kind of huts up that's next to this river,
It's
and
beautiful.
it's it's a
It's
beautiful peaceful
stunning.
area. There's like
Yeah.
nothing around for a while. There's like a hotel up the road that's like
Hmm.
quite small, that like sometimes would go up to like have drink. Well, the adults would go up there and have drinks, and the kids would like sit and play the pool table and stuff and just hang out some nights. But other than that, most of the time we'd be sat down there making bonfires, having barbecues. All the kids would go and like play in the river, swimming, catching minnows, all that kind of stuff. And it was like a family thing where we just go all the me and all my cousins would all go up there and we'd just spend weeks of the summer and stuff just up there just hanging out, and there was like no technology. Like me and my cousins would like we'd take our Game Boys up with some batteries, but we wouldn't sit and just like sit in and play them like the whole time. We'd sit and play them sometimes, but a lot of the time we'd just be out and about doing just random shit, and it was a great time being up there all the time. It was very fun, enjoyable.
Hmm. Like sometimes I'll take the dogs up near there,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's just lovely. Honestly, it's just like it doesn't matter what the weather is, you could enjoy it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whether you're just sitting, you know, outside enjoying the sun, or whether you're inside enjoying the fire and the snow's outside, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really lovely place.
Aye, it's great. There's a big ass lake quite close to it. You can go fishing in. There's a
Hmm.
natural spring that you can get water. You can get fresh water for. That's really nice as
Yep.
well. It's just it's great. It's a great wee
Listen,
place.
a lot of our listeners, or a few of our listeners, don't live in Scotland or they don't live in Britain. And I would definitely recommend that if at one point in your life you get the opportunity to come over and see your vast land for yourselves, do it.
Yep, yep, yep.
Once in a lifetime experience. And I'm not trying to say that like other places are shit, but other places are shit. Um, like America think they can come for Scotland's gig, like with the mountains and all that. They've got their Mount Rushmore and the Grand Canyon. They're like, oh, look at all these natural wonders. Bitch, I don't care. We've got lovely hills,
the
lovely hills.
the best I think the best thing they've got is Yosemite, the national park, probably.
Oh, is it Yellowstone National Park?
I think that's
Or is
what.
that?
Aye, is that the same?
I think there might be two.
Uh,
Yellowstone's in
aye.
Alaska, I
Oh wait,
think.
no. Wait, is it?
Yellowstone National Park. Oh, Montana. Oh no, that's the nearest town. Sorry. Park County, Wyoming. That's
So
very north,
I
Yellowstone.
think for what I'm reading, Yosemite is in the park, but is a very small part of the actual full park.
Right. I think that's like a Yellowstone National Park's like massive. It's like
It's
it's
insanely huge.
stretchy. Yeah, it's stretchy. It's probably bigger than Scotland, maybe. I don't know. That might be a lie, but I would like to go and see that. I would like to go and see that.
It's pretty crazy. Pretty
Although
crazy.
I wouldn't want to be one of those statistic figures of people going missing there.
Aye, fuck that.
Mm. I was worried about that. Like, see, when I was out in the sticks, because I think the closest town is maybe about a 10-minute drive, and there's only maybe 100 or 200 odd people living there. It's like, tiny, tiny.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that is a worry.
I'm sitting there worrying in my wee cabin. Is there somebody that knows this land who's like, yeah, I'm gonna go and steal that person for whatever reason, black market organ donor, whatever it is.
Mm.
I couldn't watch a horror movie at all. Like, because I kind of like me and Alan kind of wanted to have like a wee horror night where we're sitting alone in the cabin watching a movie.
Jesus, that is
I couldn't
quite.
do it.
that would be quite. That could be quite nightmarish. Watching
I mean,
some shit like that.
Can you imagine sitting there in your wee cabin and you're watching like Cabin Fever or even like Friday the 13th, something like that, and any noise you hear that night, you'd be going. I just don't know what would be worse, that or having your best friend of 25 years ditch you for a game. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Fucking hell. It's aye man, fuck that. Fuck that.
But we had a great time. It was fun. Had a lovely week.
Oh, I'm sitting there saying that I didn't do anything this week, but I actually did do. I guess the one other thing I did this week was I binge watched an anime.
Okay.
Called Demon Slayer, which is, it's very, very popular. And it's one of the ones that I probably should have watched at some point, but I've only just got around to watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it is very good.
What's our story? What's the premise of the world that we're inhabiting?
Well, as the title would suggest, the main story is basically about demon slayers. But the story of the main character is spoilers for anybody who's not watched, but I'm not going to go that deep into it. I'll just say the basic premise that basically happens in the first episode or whatever. Kid lives with a family in the mountains. He leaves to go to the local town to do some stuff. Comes back. Family has been massacred by a demon.
Oh.
His sister seems to be the only one that's still alive, but she's unconscious, so he grabs her and starts running to the local town to try and get her, see if he can save her. Turns out she is alive. She's not necessarily alive. She is now a demon.
Right.
And starts attacking him. And he basically is holding her off and try to do that whole screaming at her about don't
you're still in there.
You're still in there, all that stuff. And she calms down basically, and it does seem like she remembers who she is and all that, kind of, but she's like still a demon. And then a demon slayer shows up and is like, "Yo, I'm going to kill her because she's a demon. That's what I do." And he's like, "Yo, don't kill my sister." And he's basically she ends up protecting him for the demon slayer, because the demon slayer hits him to stop him, try to stop him. And then she protects him, and the demon slayer's like, "Oh my god, a demon protecting a human? That's unheard of." And he's like, maybe she could get turned. Maybe he's basically like, "I'm going to find out a way to turn my sister back to human." And he's like,
yeah.
And the whole story is that he becomes a demon slayer so that he can find out more about demons, and he carries his sister around with him to try and protect her. And she is the one demon that does not kill humans. And it's basically the whole story of him just hunting demons, try to find out more about them so that he can figure out how to turn his sister back. And it's pretty great. It's
I've heard of it, right? I've heard of it, and I've seen it. I've seen wee bits of it, right? So is his sister the one that is eating the bamboo?
She has a bamboo mouth guard on.
What's that about?
I think that's basically just in case.
Oh, she like tries to eat people.
Aye, so that's what the demons do.
Okay, okay.
The demons survive by eating people, and they get stronger from eating. Like the more humans they've eaten, the stronger they get. So, like the main like bad guys demon group of the series is like, you know, we've eaten tons of humans and we enjoy doing it and all that. And they're no mindless beasts. Like they are like they
Like
have
riveting.
intelligence and stuff. Like
Yeah.
they're very aware of what they're doing. But for the most part, they've like forgotten who they were when they were people, so they have like no remorse or anything like that. Usually, it's not until like they die, or they're dying that they like have memories of who they were, and they
Right.
start like having regrets and all that. And you'll usually learn their backstories, of who they were and how they became a demon, and it's always very sad. There's always very
So
tragic
yeah.
shit that turned them into a demon and that.
So all the demons are formerly human.
Yes.
That's interesting because obviously, you know, it's called Demon Slayer, but it may as well just be called Corrupted Human Slayer.
Yeah.
Or you know, like I always like when anime does stuff like that. They have like an arbitrary distinction. Um, Basically the one group of people, but they're separated by something. Obviously, in this instance, some people are demons, and obviously they eat people, and that's why they're being hunted or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about it, they're still human to a degree.
It's very much like basically they're very close to just being vampires for the most part. Like they
Hmm.
eat human blood to survive. They kind of go out in the sun, or they burn and die. And
Right.
like the only way to kill them is to chop off their heads with a specific type of sword. Like
Yeah.
if a demon can't kill another demon, they can hurt each other, but they can't kill each other. Um, and like the only, if I can tell, the only way that they've said you can kill them is by chopping off their head with a specific type of sword. So they're very vampire
Vampire.
like in a
They're
sense where it's like
vampire.
there's very specific ways that you have to kill them, and they kind of go out in the sun, and they survive by eating humans. So they're very much like more like vampires than
And
demons.
demons. Yeah.
But
Is demon just a translation kind of thing?
I don't know actually.
Like, is the original title like I don't know? It wouldn't. I don't think it would be vampire. I don't think like that would be it'd be that obvious. But I don't know. I feel like Demon Slayer. I feel like that would just be. Do you know what I mean though? Like sometimes like when things can
Aye.
get translated. Um.
Well, apparently the exact translation of the Japanese title is Blade of Demon Destruction.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't know if maybe in Japanese demon is more of a catch-all term
Mhm.
for specific types of creatures. Or maybe the guy's just like either demons, but I'm just going to make them basically be
Mhm.
vampires, but they'll call them vampires.
Well,
Um,
I'm looking it up right now, and is it Akuma? Akuma.
Akuma
Um.
is. Aye,
And
Akuma usually means demon, but in the Japanese title of the show is doesn't he have Akuma in it?
well, I just looked up like the word for demon and like the translations of it, and a lot of them are devil, demon, Satan, evil spirit, fiend,
Hmm.
daemon, ogre, daemon. So I don't know. I feel like that maybe is a wee translation then, because if they're not demons in the way that, because my next question was going to be like, well, where's the angels?
There's never there's no really any speak of any other kind of supernatural beings in the series. It's just these. I don't know if it's maybe that thing where you know they're not actually demons. It's just what in universe they are referred to because of
Uh,
how horrible they are, or
mhm.
like the fact that they kill people and that. And that's just what they refer to them as. But I mean they're very much more similar to vampires than traditional what we would think of as a demon.
Yeah, they're
But
not demons in a biblical sense, more spiritual kind of demon.
that's maybe a good way to put it.
Hmm.
I've very much enjoyed it. It's been I binge watched the whole thing. It is probably one of the best some of the best animation I've seen in any series. Like
Right?
the animation is pretty good throughout, but like specific like fight scenes and stuff like that are just insane. Like movie quality animation for like a series for a lot of like moments in the show, and it's pretty fucking insane how good it is. But I've very much I've very much enjoyed it. It's been out for a while now, a couple of years now. The series has been out, but I finally binge watched the anime and got caught up the other night.
Is
So
it finished? Is there like none, or
no,
is there more coming out?
there's still more. There's still more.
Right.
I watched season 1, and then there was a movie, and then there was season 2, and I watched all of that, and season 2 ended on. No, it didn't end on a cliffhanger, but it ended on a like, oh, we just finished this big thing, and there's definitely no done. I'm pretty sure the manga's still gone and probably quite far ahead of the series as always, but there's still quite a bit left, for sure.
I may add it to my pile of things to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty fun show.
You're saying that the animation was pretty good really speaks to me. Because obviously, like that to me, like as a visual person, that's the kind of stuff that keeps me kind of entertained. Is like what's happening, the movements, how do they make the movements, or transfer those movements onto like cartoons kind of stuff.
Aye.
Talking of cartoons, have you seen the Cuphead show?
I haven't. I seen the other day people talking about it, and I didn't realise that it actually came out or that it
I had
started.
no idea that this was a thing.
Oh really?
None whatsoever. It was just in like I was kind of going through Netflix one day, and I was like, "What, the Cuphead show?" And it just immediately reminded me of what we were talking about a few weeks ago about how games get made into TV, or TV gets made into games, and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, you don't need a Cuphead show. You don't need it. You don't need it. But see, watching it, I'm so glad they made that show. I'm so glad they made that
I've
show.
been hearing good things about it. I heard
Mhm.
about it. I think I remember hearing about it a while ago that they like were gonna make it, and then I saw the trailer for it a few months ago.
Mhm.
Um, and I didn't realize it was it yet though. But I've seen a few people talk about it, and they've all been saying it's pretty great. So I need to watch it at some point, I think.
Um, I mean, you've played Cuphead. You know the game. You know the
Yeah,
story
yeah,
of
yeah,
the game.
yeah.
Um, I got very like Grim Adventure vibes from it, like
All right.
that era Cartoon Network. Whoever or the design or the animation team behind it, you can tell that they absolutely know their animation history and that they love animation. Like you can tell they love
Hmm.
what they're doing. Like the the stuff that they animate and like the references and stuff like that as well. Like there's a lot of old animation references, like obviously like Steamboat Willie and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The skeleton dance.
Ah.
There's that reference as well. There's a lot. It's pretty funny, and the devil in it. I just love the devil in it. Like as I say, like I get personally like Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy kind of vibe. So to me, it's like the like before the established group, and the devil is like the Grim Reaper, and Billy and Mandy are Cuphead and Mugman.
All right. That's that. I
Just like
mean, I do love Billy and
yeah,
Mandy, so that's a good way.
and it's like the obviously I never completed Cuphead, or like I've only seen games or levels of it being played, so I don't quite know um don't know the characters if you went a Cuphead and Mugman. I don't even know if there was much character development for them in the games.
No, really. It's basically just the end. Basically, all you really get is the intro, and then at the end they're like, "Oh, we learned our lesson. Not to fuck with the devil," and that's pretty much it. Um.
But it's a really good program. It's only I think an episode's only maybe like 12 minutes,
Mm,
but it's a lot of fun to watch. And as I say, like the animation in it, you can tell that they really loved and they really know their animation. Mr. Kettle, obviously he's back.
mm.
Um, I get if you've played the game, there is a lot of references to the game in the series. Um, I'd imagine if I'd played the game a wee bit more, I'd have known more of them.
True. I imagine if you play the game, there's probably a lot of stuff in there that you'll get for like reference wise and all that. Aye.
And I will say this: seeing the game, was there like an old telephone that just had a really bad time yet?
An old telephone?
Like one of the ones where you pick up and you go, "Hello, operator." You know, one of them.
That doesn't ring a bell as like a character that was in it. Or maybe I'm just forgetting. It has been a while since I played it.
The reason I bring it up is because I don't know who hates this telephone, but like every adventure that these guys have, this poor telephone is just not having a great time. But
it doesn't ring a bell at all for the game. It might be a show on the character.
Do me a favour. Look up the intro, because the intro is just fantastic. Like the music and everything is the intro is just great. Just don't watch the intro live. Let's get a live reaction of you watching the intro. Audio only, not visible. Just audio.
I have to make sure I find the right one and it's not the fucking... Is it like King Dice coming out on stage?
No, it should be like an old map unrolling. And it's like someone singing like "Welcome to the Ink Isles," I think it is, or something.
Let me see. Oh right, I think this is it. Right. Play.
Come with me to the Inkwell Isles. It's just off the coast, maybe 29 miles, where there's good and there's bad and then there's in between.
There's quite a few characters I'm already seeing for the game. That's pretty good, though.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's fucking, a lot of fun. I was going to say I didn't realise that the new character for the DLC's in it, the female cup girl.
Oh, the female cup, yeah.
That she's in it. That makes sense. Obviously, that she'll show up since in fact, when is the DLC for the game actually as well? I don't even know. Because they announced that a while ago. I don't remember when they said it was coming out. The Last Cruise. Delicious Last Cruise, it's called. Oh, I know it doesn't come out until June, so that's a while away. Fuck's sake. Oh. But that makes sense that she'll. I mean, that's a good. The show will be a good fucking advertisement for people to buy the game and the new DLC as well, I guess.
It did make me want to just go out and play the game. It's a lot of fun.
I'll need to get a watch for sure.
See those frogs?
The
frogs are hilarious. It's so funny. I think they're from Boston, maybe. And it's just hilarious, honestly. The world building as well. As I say, I never really played the game, so I don't really know a huge deal about the characters or anything like that. But the world building in the show is amazing. The characters, the animation. The world seems to be a mix of people-like things, inanimate objects that are people-like, and animals and fruits and vegetables that are like people. It's this weird amalgamation.
It's that kind of that world where just everything's alive.
Absolutely everything. Yeah.
But it's I'll need to get a watch I didn't realise it was out until I saw people like tweeting about it and that like the other day, and then I was like, oh shit. But
I would really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's like, you know, it's a universal, so it's for everyone. It's not like it's like hard to watch or grim kind of subject matter. It's a lot of fun. I can't recommend it enough.
That sounds good. Sounds good.
And you know, I think I was needing something to console myself when my best friend for 25 years completely ditched me for a game. So I felt like I needed something to just take my mind off it, and that was just perfect. But I'm over it. I'm actually over it. I'm really over it.
Fucking.
Honestly, like you know, if you're still alive and I die years down the line, I will get someone else to read at my funeral how I died of heartbreak because you played Elden Ring that one Friday.
Fuck's sake.
I won't do that. That's. Do you know what? Do you know what that reminds me of? I don't know if you've seen this, but like people are getting too wild with funerals.
Oh, aye.
Too wild, right? So I seen this video, right, and it was of this young man, and I think he knew that he was going to die. It wasn't like a sudden kind of thing, and it was obviously quite a tragic thing that happened to him. I don't really know what happened to him. All I know is that the video of the funeral was laying down his coffin. He had a pre-recording of himself saying, like knocking on wood and being like, "Mum, let me out," kind of thing.
Oh, Jesus.
That is so tacky. I don't like that. I don't like that because even if I knew it was a joke, if if I've just lost somebody that I love, especially in like really horrible circumstances, like the tragedy of it all, my brain would want it to be real. For me personally, I feel like my brain would be like, "Oh my god, he's actually there," even if I knew about the joke, and I'd be throwing myself at the coffin, ready to like open it up and let them out and stuff like that. I don't know if I can. I don't know.
It's a bit, it's a bit of a shite hinky day to, like, like, it's like one of the things where you can sit there and be like, oh, I want this funny thing to happen at my funeral and all this, blah, blah, but, like, you do have to think about the fact that you've got, family, you have family and all that, they're, like, grieving over the loss, and something like that might not, some people might not find the humour in that or appreciate that kind of thing at that time, so... I would hope that if he did that he would have made sure that everybody was all right with it.
Yeah,
because otherwise that can be kind of a messed up thing to do.
I mean, I think from the video that I've seen, the people attending the person's funeral, they kind of they did see the joke in it. They had a laugh, and I think it was maybe like a nice respite from the tragedy for them. But me personally, no, I could never do that. Couldn't I? I mean, I'd maybe have a ticking noise.
A ticking noise?
Just like a ticking noise, like people are like, why is that coffin ticking? I'd maybe do something like that, but like, I don't know, just the idea, like physically recording myself, like trying to get out my coffin, knowing that it will be played after I'm dead. I don't need to worry about it, obviously. I'm dead. But everybody else, I don't know. It seems a bit sketchy to me. I wouldn't do it.
Honestly, I think if I knew that I was gonna die, or if like I was at that point, if I was old enough to the point where people were like, "Oh, would you want us to do for your funeral?" stuff like that, I'd probably just be like, "I don't care. I'm gonna be dead. Do whatever's cheapest and easiest for ease, because I'm dead and I don't give a fuck."
That's one thing people don't talk about is how funerals are an industry.
Yeah,
and they cost a lot of money.
Too
but
much.
Let me ask you this. Ideally, what would be your perfect way to be buried? Or like to your end of life, or your farewell as they call it?
I'd probably just say cremate me.
Mm-hmm.
Cremate
Simple,
me
easy.
and fucking
Would you get
scatter my ashes somewhere.
would you get changed into like a diamond or
Oh, aye, that is a
tree or
thing.
anything like that?
See that's something that's something I would actually maybe be interested in. Is like cremate me and I like make me into like a tree that will grow.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I could see myself being interested in doing for like a funeral type thing. You know.
I've always been like really adamant and really specific about this. And Alan's like that'll never happen. You can't do that. Only if you die in very certain circumstances can that happen. But basically, I don't want any like you know how they fill the body with like formaldehyde and stuff like that, and the
Aye.
organs are all removed. And what you're
Yeah.
looking at the funeral isn't really a body, more as like just the torso. Or, I don't know. In any case, I don't want any of that. I just take me as I am. There's these things that I was reading that you can get, and they're like a suit that you put on, and they are basically when you die, the stuff that your body releases, these mushrooms in the suit eat.
Okay.
So basically, like all the kind of poison that you accumulate in your life, well, obviously when you die, it stays in the one spot. But these mushrooms help break down these poisons. So it's a lot better for the earth or something like that.
Okay.
So literally just put me in a paper bag, throw in some seeds in that mushroom suit, and just throw me in a hole in the ground. I hate the idea that funerals are an industry because they really do prey on the fact that people are in a very vulnerable position, and
Aye.
always people are very proud and they obviously want their loved ones sent off with you know a nice coffin and a nice space and nice words to be heard, and you don't ever want to feel like you couldn't provide someone with the stuff they deserve in death, even if they're
Aye.
not there to, even if they're not there to appreciate it. And I think that funeral industry kind of definitely takes advantage of that.
It's just it's also just such a waste of like space as well, like graveyards.
Oh yeah,
They're so
yeah,
inefficient, like it's such an inefficient way to do things like that because it's like everybody, it needs to be a 6 feet deep hole and it'll be like has to be like 6 feet long, just about depending on the height of the person, and space around for the grave and all that, and it's just like such a huge amount of space for the amount of people that die.
and
It's just
the amount of paperwork that you'd have to go through to get, like, for instance, there's a lot of in Britain especially, there's a lot of places in the country that have these wee houses next to graveyards, and the whole point in these wee houses is they were there to tend the graveyards. Obviously now that with the way that the housing market is, people just want houses. They don't care if it's next to the graveyard, they just want the house. And so people are buying these types of properties and finding out that to get those bodies removed is a huge uphill battle. Like huge. Like bodies that are like 300 years old.
Jesus.
Like once a body's in the ground, it's very, very difficult to get that body to be moved, even if it is somewhere better,
I just it'd be nice if the more common way that people would have funerals would be just burn the body and scatter the ashes somewhere, or keep it in a jar in your house, and that can be your way to grieve. If you want to, rather than going to visit a fucking graveyard, you're like, well, I've got them, right there, up on the fireplace in a wee jar or whatever.
It's a very important point that, like, obviously people need a way to grieve after the funeral. So, like, a wee keepsake, or if they've been cremated, as you say, the ashes. But I know a lot of people, especially a lot of older people, who will go and visit graves on Christmas. Like that'll be like the first thing they do is like, oh, I need to go and see my family on Christmas, and I mean that's fine for them, and that I'm not here to piss on MD's parade, but see, certainly for me, if I have a grave, don't be visiting me on Christmas. You know, don't be doing that.
Aye, you don't want their Christmas to revolve around going to a graveyard and grieving.
I
Like,
don't know. I would prefer if, well, this is just me and maybe how I've found the grieving process for me works. But I would just kind of prefer to let them go.
mm-hmm.
You know, nothing can take away the memories that you'd built. And you'll have wee mementos of small memories of them. And I would rather look at, say, something really innocuous like a train ticket and be like, that was a really beautiful day and blah blah blah, than going to like a grave and being like, this is where I said goodbye to you. It's very heavy. I think very heavy.
Mm. Aye, I don't. It's a strange. It's one of the things that you grow up. It's like the graveyards and like funerals and all that shit is one of the things where as you grow up, it's just this normal thing. You don't question it. But when you actually sit and think about it, it just doesn't make much sense that that's the way we do things. Like,
It
have
really
this
doesn't.
big, expensive, elaborate way to bury somebody who's died, and it's just like it costs so much money, and it's just such a hassle. When it could be so much easier. And
I
it's just
personally don't understand the money side of it. I just don't. So there's some funerals over here that I think you're looking at around the ballpark figure of £5,000. I don't know many people who just have £5,000 to fork out for a funeral. I don't.
it's fucking.
And it's weird, like, because it's a huge bill, it's a huge tab, and the person who's actually needing it isn't paying for it.
Aye.
Or most of the time. Most of the time.
It's that idea of like, don't waste your money on somebody who's literally dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just all this money for a person who's literally no here anymore.
Yeah.
It's just that's a crazy thing.
So when I have obviously been at graveyards and all that to pay respects, like people, everybody's got their own way of grieving and everybody's got their own way to kind of process things, and it just kind of feels like some people just really haven't said goodbye, or they really can't let go.
Mm-hmm.
Like the graves are like dressed with like seasonal ornaments, or I don't know, like the like things that maybe that person liked, and you're just like, I get it, the sentiment is absolutely, the sentiment's lovely. You obviously want to be connected to that person in a way, and you're like, I know this person like this, so I'm going to bring this to that person or where that person is resting. But for me, it's just, as you say, it's like they can't use that, or they're not feeling the benefit of you spending your money on that. So I mean, it does seem like a bit of a waste.
Aye. It's just I just don't get it. It's one of the things where for me I'm like, I don't get it. When I'm dead, better they fucking burn me, scatter
Throw me in the
me.
trash.
Don't waste money.
Yeah.
But I guess it's that same thing where I don't really understand. I don't really understand the need for people to spend so much money on like weddings as well.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
And I'm
100%.
one of the people that I'm like, if I ever did get married, I'd be like, I wouldn't care if it was if it was cheap and it was just like, oh, we go get fucking
just
a license,
you and 4 guests. Yeah.
and then we just have like a party at the house or whatever with some people there, and that's it. Like that wouldn't bother me at all. But it's one of the things where like I'm not gonna sit and say like to other people, you shouldn't have a big wedding and that. Like it's like if that's the thing you want, if you actually genuinely want that and it'll make you happy and you've got the money to spend on it, like, fucking do what you want. It's your fucking choice and that. But
that's it,
for me, I'm just like, I just don't get it. I just don't get the need to spend so much on something like that. That's just like,
it's weird. Some people will save up their whole lives for that one day.
Aye.
And You're right. It's not something that I kind of get either. I'm just like, if you want to spend that amount of money for your dream wedding, who am I to turn around and say that you can't enjoy that?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes a lot, it's the same with funerals in a way. Like people kind of just do it because there's an expectation that that's what's to be done. I feel like a lot of young girls, especially, they're told from a very young age, when you get married, it's going to be the most magical, beautiful day ever, and it's not until like that little girl kind of grows up and is like, well, if I want that, I'm going to have to find the money to pay for it because a beautiful, perfect, extravagant wedding is not cheap, and it costs more than some people's houses.
Aye, and
It's crazy.
it is
It's
actually
crazy.
it is an insane thing what it is like. It's built into like people's and people's childhood growing up. They get told like how important weddings are, and it's like, oh, getting married is like, this life goal that everybody has to get to. Oh, and you have to have this big beautiful wedding and all that shit. And it's like so many people. It's not. I don't want to say brainwashed, but it's one of the things where it's just like it gets.
It's accepted without challenged.
It gets put into your head as when you're so young that you don't question it at all, and you just accept that that's just a thing, and you end up just growing up being like, that's what needs to be done. But when you actually stop to think, like, yeah, but why do I need to do that? It's like,
some people, I guess, they kind of just go off on what they know. And they're like, well, my mum and dad got married this way, so I'll get married this way. Or, things have been done this way for as long as I can see, and I've never seen a different example, so I'm just going to keep doing what I know. But I find it weird that people don't, as I say, like, see, and maybe I've just always been quite tight-fisted. And for the people that don't know, that means frugal.
Mm.
I don't want to use the word cheap, because it's not cheap. I'm not cheap. But I couldn't imagine spending anywhere near like 20, 30 grand, 40 grand for a wedding. And I know some people pay like 10 times that.
Aye. For a party. Basically.
For a party.
Basically for a party.
Mm-hmm. And it's so your family can judge you. Because no wedding is perfect, Nobody's going into a wedding and being like, oh, the couple are great and all this and that and the next thing. The family are being like, he's not good enough for her, she's not good enough for him.
That's fucking that shit boggles my mind. Like, if I was in a position, right, where I was getting married to somebody and she was like, I want a big wedding, and I was like, okay, I don't really care either way, and if we can if we had the money for it, right, and she wanted a big wedding, and I was like, well, I don't really care either way, but if you want to have a big wedding, then I guess we'll have a big wedding, because I would prefer we didn't, but I'm not going to tell you can't have. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to sit here and be like, you're not having that.
Especially when it's not something that is huge of an issue.
Aye, but if we were spending that much money and that much time and effort to plan it all and all that, and I had one of the fucking kind of relatives that just sticks their nose in to that shit and just gets involved in a way that they're no welcome. Like, I've seen so many stories of people are like, aye, my mother-in-law, for the wedding is telling us that we need to do this and that, and they're basically being a fucking nightmare mother-in-law or whatever, telling us that we need to fucking, just do all this shit. I just would not have patience for that. I'd be like, we're spending so much money and time on this. If you are not going to respect the decisions we make for something like this, that is our day, you can fuck off and you're no coming. Like, I don't understand people that just sit there and accept that shit. Like, that's crazy to me.
Without questioning it, without being like, why are you saying this now?
It's like, you can get to fuck. I don't care if you're fucking. I don't care how I'm related to you. If you don't have the decency to let us have this the way we want it, then you can just no come, and that's it.
Exactly. Because it's your life, and you should be in charge of how you want to celebrate that or how you want to spend that. But can I tell you a story about a wedding?
Aye, please.
Right, this is a wedding that I went to, and I will not name names, obviously, right? But the couple in question, or the couple get married, They were a lovely couple. I always thought very nice people.
Hmm.
They seemed like they were in love. Like they had issues, like all relationships does. It was never like it was never like, oh, we're perfect and we're trying to be something that we're not, kind of thing. They were human. So I heard this on the day of the wedding, right? So if I've heard it and I'm like I don't know, a secondary kind of guest, like I wasn't family, I wasn't really close friends. The mother of the bride, while the bride was getting ready, walked up to the bride as she's kind of standing in her dress and all that kind of stuff, and she's like, "It's not too late. It's not too late. If you want to call all this off, it's not too late."
What the fuck?
I heard this at the wedding on the day, and I was that was my reaction. I was like, "What the hell?
Who
Who
the
does that to their daughter? Who goes up to their daughter and being like, so this man that is the love of your life, it's not too late, you
Fuck
know?"
it, on the wedding day, after all the fucking money has been spent for the wedding, after all this
Yep.
fucking time,
The
and they're
guests are
right
there.
there, and she's just gonna. What a manipulative psycho bitch.
Bury that.
What
Bury
the
that.
fuck, man? That is
I mean,
insanity.
see if you had obviously the person had problems with the partner, and maybe they had or they have voiced their thoughts and feelings about it before the wedding. But to do it before that person's about to walk down the aisle and make a huge
Aye.
commitment to somebody else, crazy.
Fucking hell, man. People are just. Mind your business. Like,
Mind your business.
it doesn't.
Drink water. Mind
Like,
your business.
mind your fucking business, man.
See, this is kind of why I don't want any family at my wedding, in a way, because I'm just kind of like, um, I don't know how. I think I would be really volatile reacting to something like that. I think I would be like, get the fuck out of my life, never darken my doorway again, fucking walk down the aisle the opposite way and tell everybody you are shamed from me. You know, I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't like it. But I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine that doing that to somebody.
I know that shit is that shit's great. When the amount of times I've read stories like that, people are like nightmare weddings where they've got some family member that is just being an absolute shit at their wedding, and I'm just like, I don't know how you put up with that. Like that is somebody doing that kind of shit. Is it to me is an immediate you're out of here, bye, leave.
Where's the entitlement coming from? Like where's the entitlement coming from? Because it's like it's as if it's their life. It's like, that they are that age and they're about to get married. It's not about you. It's not about you. Crazy.
So I'm just had to answer a thing real quick there. We're
Away.
doing we started that's another thing actually this week I guess that happened is we started up a new season in my Pokemon Draft League.
Lovely.
In the past week. It was I won my first battle that I had of the season, so that was pretty good. After
I knew that was good. I knew that.
Well, no, the guy I was fighting is somebody who's in the past beaten me way more than I've beaten him and the drafts we've done. So this was it was one of the things going in. I knew it was going to be a rough fight, and I was expecting to lose and just try and not lose too badly, to be honest. So the fact that I came out of it winning was pretty great. A nice surprise.
I'm glad you beat that cunt.
He's not a cunt.
He is your enemy. What are you talking about?
Fucking just fucking. That's been a fun thing. It's just that's what that was. One of the newer people that joined this season was just messaging me. They're asking me about a specific rule, a specific rule on a thing.
Right.
Just
no, that's fine.
Because it is. I'm assuming he's still preparing for his battle and he has to get it done by tomorrow, so he's probably planning his team at the new, so I felt like I should probably answer him immediately so that he can get shit sorted. So
do you know what you're having for dinner tonight?
No, not at all.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
What are you having?
That might be the new thing that I do. Like, just whenever, like, somebody's sitting there and like that, I have no idea what decision to make, or blah, blah. Just gonna whisper in their ear like a wee devil, go, "Oh, it's not too late."
It's not too late.
But I need to make tracks because it's Alan's grand 70th.
Ooh.
So we're
Right.
packing up the puppies and going for a lovely wee party.
That sounds nice.
Hey, baby. Yes. Well, I say party. I'm not drinking or anything like that. I'll probably just drive. But I'll be looking forward to the buffet.
That is the one thing you can look forward to, aye.
Love a buffet. I'll maybe take a wee Tupperware tub with me. Just for a wee after, for a wee doggy bag.
Mm.
But I'm not cheap. I did say that. I'm not cheap.
It could come off like that, like we're both like sitting here like that. Don't want an expensive funeral, don't want an expensive wedding. People are just like, man, these cunts are fucking cheap.
We don't want a wedding or funeral, but if you're having a party and there's a buffet, we'll certainly be there.
I will stuff my face. I will take that entire massive plate of sausage rolls, and I will scoff them all.
Wee cocktail sausages. Can't you get enough of them?
Delicious.
Oh, I know. Right. Anyway, I better go. But listen, viewers, thanks for listening with us this week. Pop off in the comments. What kind of funeral would you like to have? Or what kind of wedding would you like to have? Or what would you say if your mother-in-law turned round and whispered in your ear as you're standing in your wedding dress, looking in the mirror, being like, I'm about to make the biggest decision of my life, and she turns around and says, it's not too late. It's not too late. Wild.
Wild shit, man.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you for listening. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.